going to be talking about animal homes. I have a couple of homes listed here in a nice little house. We're going to talk about where animals live and how that can benefit them in different ways. So a lot of things that we would be familiar with are things like nests. You're probably familiar with the fact that birds build nests. We have a couple of bird nests here. We have some that are a little bit larger. And it's made of grass and mud and twigs. And you can even see little bits of like plastic here that the bird used to make, they just use whatever they find. And that was something that this bird found and said, you know what, that sounds nice. Let's use that for my home. So we have big bird nests like this. We have some slightly smaller ones in here. They're very delicate, so I'm trying to handle them very carefully while I show you guys. Let's see. This one is from a hummingbird. It's a little tiny nest on this branch. You can see it's largely made of little bits of fluff. That could be feathers, that could be bits from like a cottonwood tree. And you can see just a little tiny little pocket that they would lay their very small eggs in. So there we have some bird nests. Some birds use even their spit to build nests. They have very like viscous saliva, so it's very stringy and stretchy, and they use only their saliva to build nests on cave walls. That's pretty cool. We also have something similar to nests. We have hives. Now nests generally are going to be things like birds. Hives are going to be things like insects. You might see a beehive, or we have here a wasp's nest. And it's made, it almost looks like it's made of like paper mache. And what it is that a lot of times they will use, they'll use their mandibles, their jaws, to bite apart pieces of wood, and they'll chew it up, and then they'll spit it into this big shape of this hive. And it will make it, it basically makes it so it's almost made like paper, because that's how we make paper, is from wood pulp. So it's similar in that way, that they build their nests. Birds and nests and hives are made out of things that are that they make like with their beaks or with their mouths. But then we also have things like burrows and holes. Those are when an animal digs in the dirt, and so sometimes an animal might burrow into some dirt, or even burrow into like a dead log or something like that. They'll make a hole like that and live there. So you'll see that with things like prairie dogs will do that. But also lots of animals that can't build their own burrow, that can't dig, like snakes, will find abandoned holes and burrows and live there instead. And that's especially useful in the winter. So a lot of animals that we don't see in the winter because it's too cold for them, they will hibernate in abandoned burrows and holes, or in between like a really tight squeeze between some rocks. Snakes will get in there during the winter, and they'll just huddle themselves in there until it's warm enough for them to come out. So that is another example of some similar animal homes. We have dams. Does anyone know which kind of animal builds dams? Beavers, that's right, good job. So beavers, they make dams, and it creates, it changes the whole river around them. It makes ponds, and it changes the flow of the river. So animal homes can be really small, like the little hummingbird nests that we saw. They can be really, really big, like a beaver dam. And we included here were eggs, because for a little while, eggs are a home for an animal. I have an ostrich egg here, which is one of the largest bird eggs. Oh, sorry, this is an emu egg, my bad. Ostrich eggs are, I believe, the largest, and then emu eggs. This one right here, a little bit smaller. But what's cool about eggs is on the inside, so there's the shell on the outside, and it is nice and hard and protects them. And then on the inside, you have the yolk, and the yolk is actually what feeds the baby animal inside. And the white part, or the albumin, is what helps to cushion them. So it's like a little pillow to hold the baby bird that is inside until they are full grown and can come out of the eggs. So eggs are pretty cool because they are like little portable homes for baby animals that come out of eggs. And the same thing could be said about with mammals. If they have, they're born in, they grow in a womb, that is a nice little comforting home for them until they're grown enough to be out in the world. So we're gonna do some activities regarding some animal homes with Sarah. Let's go over to her now.
Hey everybody, Sarah here. We're gonna talk about our activity of the week. Maren just taught us about nests and different homes of animals. So we're gonna think of some things that we can do to invite these animals into our backyard so that maybe, just maybe, they will build their home in our backyard. So a few of those things that we could do is to put out bird seed, put out hummingbird feeders. If you're going to do a hummingbird feeder, it doesn't need to be as complicated as you think. It can just be sugar water. It doesn't even need to be red. You don't have to buy the syrup looking stuff from the store. For nests, you can even collect your pet's hair, or if you have small old fabrics and things, birds might need those and they might take them from your yard. Maren showed us a few nests that kind of had some other foreign objects in them, like plastic or other things that animals are using. Another thing that you can do is you can get on the computer and look up how to make bat boxes or bee hotels. There are some places that sell these in the summer. We're a little bit out of season to just buy these things at the store. But these are some things that you can do to invite animals into your backyard. In Utah especially, a very common thing is to put out food for deer, which you can also do. But we have to be aware that some animals do not want to make a home in your backyard. So don't get your feelings hurt if that is the case. If you've got kids that are kicking balls in trees and doing all that stuff and being reckless in the backyard, or if you've got big dogs or a lot of raccoons in your neighborhood, it might not matter how much seed and things you put out. They just might not feel as safe in your backyard. But there's a lot of biodiversity in Utah, so I think your odds are pretty good. So go ahead and try it out. For sure you'll be able to have birds come, you'll be able to watch them in your backyard. Let us know how it goes, and we'll see you next week.